Hey everyone, just a nice, normal-paced week for Star Citizen. So today we're going to go over a few updates that caught our eye, and some discussion about choices in ship design. Alright folks, let's get to it. Greetings everyone, and welcome to another week of BlastCast. Once again with me as always is my bastion of common sense, Lightning Dragon. And this week we got a few different topics we're going to be going over that were discussed this week. But first and foremost, I wanted to go over a request from a user who wanted to ask what we thought was the best ship to be a daily driver. Now basically what he's asking there is if you had one ship that you could have that could do pretty much all of it, or at least a good chunk of it, what would be your best ship? Now, obviously, Lightning Dragon and I, we like the Avenger. But if you're looking for the next step up, personally speaking, I think the answer to that would be the Freelancer Dur. The reason is cargo, firepower. It's got a advanced jump drive, extended range, and of course with the cargo back there, it's big enough that you can park a ground vehicle, something like one of the Dragonflies or whatnot in there as well. So it's got a good amount of flexibility, and I really think it's also a great smuggling ship because with that kind of sensor package, you can probably see most enemies before they see you, giving you a chance to circumvent and get through difficult areas, avoiding as much conflict as possible. What do you think, Light? Do you think you agree with that, or do you have your own assessment?
That's the problem. Unfortunately, I agree with you. And you can, going on that smuggler topic, you can always change out your shields to be stealth shields. You can change out your armor on to be more stealth armor if you really want to, tailor it to that kind of play style. The unfortunate kind of side effect here is we have a lot of small fighters and like medium fighters and stuff, but we really don't have a very wide selection of the middle of the road ships. I mean, we have the Constellation series, we have the Freelancer series, we have the Retaliator, which I love, but the Retaliator I don't think would be a very good daily driver because it's a bomber. It's got heavy armor.
Yeah, it
It's
takes
not
more
really
people to operate
designed.
it.
Yeah, it's not really designed for fuel economy.
Yeah. I mean, the operating
Um,
cost is a big important thing when you're looking at a daily driver. And to me, the fact that the Freelancer is something that can be operated very well as a solo capacity. The Freelancer Dur, well, it has just enough of those extra features, I feel just kind of takes it over the edge, just kind of being the, I can do whatever I want ship. I can explore, I can do cargo, I can do some combat, I can do ground missions, whatever. To me, it seems to be kind of like the best universal do anything you want ship. Kind of like, in my opinion, like for Elite Dangerous, the Asp is probably the best universal ship as well.
hands down.
So it's a lot like that in that regards.
Now, I suppose you could probably make an argument for the Cutlass series, but the problem with that is they're, going through an overhaul right now, so we don't have all the new information, we don't have the new body style. But a benefit with the Cutlass would be you have a smaller profile. Again, you're still on that, two-man maximum crew. You have cargo. You have pretty good firepower, and the maneuverability, if they do the engines right, would be relatively high. So, I mean, maybe a little bit cheaper to get into, but again, we don't have all the information on the Cutlass yet, which is kind of making it hard to talk about that until we see all the new updates.
Yeah, the Cutlass could actually be another good factor, another ship to consider. But we really need to see that rework on those models and exactly how things load, what they can load, and we know that we're gonna have options to change what ships can do to a certain degree. So, but right now with the information we do have, that's why I'd have to say just for now the Freelancer Dur at the current moment. So the next thing they talked about here in the monthly report, they talked about the AI and spaceships. Now, they talked about a lot of things, but we kind of picked the top things that interested us. And to me, this is the one that kind of caught my eye. I think it's definitely something that's important. They talked about how that the AI can now correctly request the usage of both quantum travel and afterburner. And that's important because the afterburner, partially, yes, because a lot of times we've been seeing AI kind of like park in space or not fully utilize what a ship can do. I think that's important to really kind of have the AI use the ship, all the ship's features and functionality. The quantum travel in particular, because as you play in the persistent universe, when you get to a station or whatnot, they just kind of spawn in and then they attack you. But with the AI being able to use quantum travel, what they can do is have roaming bands of pirates that literally travel from base to base to base and disable them or whatnot, or coming from different locations. They could have them flying in from Grim Hex or whatever, and they can even chase you down. That's the part that really interests me, because right now, if you get attacked, if you can't handle it, you just you jump away, and that's the end of it. But imagine a scenario where you do that and you come out of jump and suddenly there's like three dudes behind you. And I think that would add a lot more tension and just a lot more craziness into the persistent universe. And I think that's going to
It'd
be
make it more believable too, not
Oh,
just like,
absolutely.
I'm just gonna run away now. Haha, you can't catch me. Where a player obviously can do the exact same thing.
Mhm.
And as Chris Roberts has said, he wants the AI to be indistinguishable from player. Like when you get in there, you don't know if it's a player or an AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they can't utilize stuff like that, it makes it very apparent very quickly. And I think the idea of roaming pirate bands, all that, and this is also important, not only just for that, but when we're looking at down the road in 3.0, is they're going to have transportation of cargo and whatnot. And they said it would be escort missions and stuff you can take too. So obviously, if there's escort missions, some of those are probably going to be AI doing cargo runs. So in that case, they obviously need to be able to utilize quantum drive and all those other systems as well. And kind of on the same line with ships here, we have the fact that Josh Coons and Chris Smith have made good progress on their ships. Josh has finished the Herald, which is now in QA testing, and he's actually moved on to the Cutlass Variants Refactor, and they're actually in a current gray box state. So, maybe our daily driver, as we talked about earlier, will change soon, but we'll have to see. I think that if it's going into gray box, give it a couple months, you think, before we start seeing a more white box or
I
filled?
would hope much sooner than
Oh,
that. I mean, they've had a
gray
lot
box
of.
actually is further ahead than white box. Sorry.
Well, they've really improved on how fast they can get ships or the turnaround. I mean,
Yeah.
with the what was it, the new Drake ship, the little freaking speed car. I don't remember the name of the damn thing. What is that stupid little motorcycle?
Oh, Dragonfly.
Yeah, the Dragonfly. Didn't that take them like 2 weeks to build or something?
Yeah, it didn't take very long at all. In fact, they said they wanted to refactor the Cutlass to go along the art of the Caterpillar, and so when they got all the Caterpillar stuff established, they said we need to go back to the Cutlass and bring that aesthetic in. And one of the things that was proposed that I'm still kind of interested in, they talked about possibility that the cargo right now, if you own a Cutlass, basically it's a little thin little ramp in the back. And they talked about how they might actually have it so the sides open up like the Caterpillar does, so you can actually load bigger cargo in from the side. I think that'd be a great idea. And I think it would very well continue the aesthetic that we've been seeing in Drake, which seems to be building onto this idea of industrial and hating ejection seats. So that
Yeah,
seems
no
to be
ejection seats allowed.
ejection seats.
So
It's a
hopefully
man ship.
we'll get to a point where you can actually bail out of your ship and just catastrophically explode.
Yes, that would be the day. So yeah, they got that set up, and we'll be seeing those shortly. Here's hoping. Now here's one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Chris Smith has finalized the art pass on the constellation Aquila, and it appears that it's ready to rock and roll. Now, originally they had slated the Aquila to come out in 3.0. They haven't said anything differently, but I'm really hoping that we get to mess around with it in 2.6 since it's done. It's not like they have to rework the entire flight model. I mean, it's basically a constellation, different cockpit and whatnot, one less gun. Hopefully I can move that gun to flip the gun and the sensor gun around, because the bottom turret in the Connie is pretty pointless anyway, because the view is pretty bad. But if I can flip the sensor package around and whatnot, I'd be a happy camper. But yeah, it
Hey,
looks
maybe
beautiful.
one day we'll have seats we sit down in and have a computer screen which is tied to a camera which we can focus our view on and fire our turrets
Remote
from
turrets.
inside the protection of the ship instead of just having our ass stick out of the side of the ship going neener neener shoot me.
Yeah, I still think, and there's a lot of people who actually agree with that sentiment, that the turrets should have been I remember. Well, you remember the original pictures of the Retaliator a long time
Exactly.
ago.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking, if you dig around for the original concept art when they showed
Hmm.
the interior cutout of the Retaliator, there was motherfucking seats under the turrets. You'd
And
have
well,
a guy walk in and sit
yeah.
down.
Well, not only that, if you remember the original pictures, they showed the cockpit, and behind him to the left and behind him to the right was two seats that was used to control turrets,
Yeah.
and that was back in the day though when they had the captain's bed with the fish tank and whatnot, or they had a long time ago. You're like, when you
Yeah.
got the ship, you're like, yeah, I got the pimp bed. I remember that a long
Yeah.
time ago.
That bedroom is still there, I believe.
Really?
I think so.
I don't remember it being in there. Maybe I don't know. But the thing is that yeah, some people. There's been a lot of debates in the forums, and I troll the forums a lot. So people saying that it's a bad design. That basically now what I would do if I was doing turrets, how you could basically eliminate the need for almost your entire turret crew. Maybe you could have it's split up a little bit, but instead like you have a turret that runs all the top turrets. So a chariot runs all top turrets. A chariot
You'd
runs all
want to
the bottom
focus it in
turrets.
quadrants,
Yeah,
like
or
a
quad, something like that. Right.
forward, rear, left, right. Weapons that can fire in that quadrant. I
Yeah.
mean, it can be a 90-degree quadrant, it can be a 270-degree,
Hmm.
but anything that can fire freely in that zone, you'd have
Right.
like direct control over.
Well, I always thought too, like if you had a single seat, okay, that would run. Say, example, it was running all the turrets. Why you couldn't focus different targets at the same time? As you were tracking a target, they would switch to the appropriate cameras as it crossed a certain boundary. And the other guns, you could basically like, okay, he's a top above you in the middle, and he's diving down, right? So you're tracking with the top guns, and once it goes out of sight, the bottom gun, you get the bottom gun cameras kick on, and you're tracking him with the bottom guns. You see what I'm saying? Like it's this smooth, like I'm in control of where all the guns are pointing. And then, of course, the disadvantage of that would be, of course, if you get attacked from multiple angles, you're one dude running all these turrets, and they're not being utilized to their maximum. But at the same time, I thought that would be kind of ideal for certain ships like like maybe like the Retaliator or even the Connie. You got the top turret and the bottom turret, and
Yeah, if you
someone's
just had
coming.
one guy in
Yeah,
like one of those front seats that just had that massive heads-up display that you pop up in front of him.
yeah.
If it just had a camera of the top or bottom turret, like you have a button to switch between them, and you just fired them like
Yeah.
regular guns.
Well, if someone's coming at you from the side and you're running the top bottom turret, then bonus, right? So I mean, one guy running both of those would be pretty darn effective. So who knows? I mean, maybe that'll be an upgrade down the road. But the turrets for some people are love and hate. But that's really
That'd
kind of
be
side the
another
point
way
there.
to fix your favorite ship in the world too,
Yeah, that's true.
because you'd be able to have it where the little armor paneling goes over it, because you wouldn't have to have that seat there. And then if you put a seat behind the cockpit, for example, like how the Cutlass has one, then you could operate the turret without being in it.
Speaking of my favorite ship in the world, the Vanguard Hoplite, of course, will be ready to fly in 2.6, and the Drake Herald, of course, as well. Now, I own the Drake
Because
Herald.
priorities.
Yeah, well, I own Drake Herald. I don't own any of the Vanguards anymore. But, I still would have liked to see the other variants for the Vanguard come out first. I think other people had done the original when they bought those BUKs, but, I guess this is for Squadron 42, so that's probably why I got prioritized a bit. Redeemer. I want my Redeemer.
I know. I don't understand why they've done. There's no point for this ship. I mean,
That's all right.
it's the same company, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think they had time to rework the entire Redeemer because the whole thing was done
It's
pre-pipelines.
ancient compared to the
yeah.
new ship systems. But I mean,
Yeah.
like if you went to Ferrari and you said, "I want to buy a Ferrari 580 or whatever," I don't know if there's an actual Ferrari 580, and they said, "Oh, well, would you
Send
like
hate
to buy
letters to Lightning
our
Dragon. Oh, go ahead.
what?"
Send hate letters to Lightning Dragon.
No, don't do that. I can't think of a Ferrari off the top of my head. And then the guy says, "Oh, well, why don't you buy the 581?" And it's like, "Well, what's the difference?" "Oh, it's got a different body, but all the cars, like the seats and the engines and stuff, they're all the same, but the body is slightly different and it costs more." Why? Why would you want to buy something that's basically the same car and it's more expensive?
Yeah. Well.
I mean, if Lamborghini was making a competitive car that's basically the same thing and it looked better, you might go, I might want to buy that. Like maybe if RSI was making a ship and it wasn't Anvil or whoever the fuck, right? You don't make like two Jeeps that are the same Jeep and one of them has got a different body on it and you charge more money. You make a regular Jeep. That's the thing that bothers me most about this is they're the same manufacturer. It's redundant. It's poorly thought out.
Yeah,
When
I
they
know. I know what you mean.
realized
Yeah.
when they realized they needed a drop ship, what they should have done and said is, okay, rather than take an existing design that everybody hates and everybody wants to see it die and strangle it, let's take the ship that everybody loves, the one that won the next great Starship, and bring it up to date. We can put 2 or 3 guys on this if we have to, right? I mean, an external guy and an internal guy. I mean, whatever it takes to get the correct ship for the job. But no, they didn't do that, and I think that's what people are so mad about is just all the bullshit going on around the Vanguard.
Well, one thing I can think of, we saw the intro to the initial, like in 2015, we saw the Squadron 42 demo that opened up, and of course you came in on one of those little Argos. Okay, now say that the opening has been changed a bit, and they're flying in several pilots on a Vanguard. Okay, and they needed to bring in like 2 or 3 pilots at once. They said, well, the Argo isn't going to work, so or whatever. I guess the Argo can carry that many though. It does have a pod in there. I don't know what. Then I really don't know why they would need to change it. Whatever. It's not important. It doesn't affect me
It's a
anymore.
waste of potential.
It doesn't affect me anymore. Let's never speak of it again.
It still
Let's get it
affects you
on.
because you own the Redeemer,
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it does.
which is not done, and there's a new ship taking its place. It's like they're shitting on the people that made that ship.
Oh well, that's all right. That's all right. We'll get it eventually, I'm sure. But it's something that's going to be curious to me, and I guess I just really want to fly my Redeemer. Not that I don't have enough ships to fly as it is, but whatever.
We have too many ships.
I do.
We're getting off topic.
There we are. They've also finishing up their final phase on finishing up the Idris, the Javelin, and the Bengal. So they said that, if I recall right, that while even if the Idris gets completely done before Squadron 42 launches, they're not gonna bring it out to the persistent universe until we can see it first in Squadron 42. I think they said it was like they wanted everyone to kind of see that ship at the same time, like a spoilers kind of thing. They didn't want everyone to just kind of see it in the persistent universe, and they want everyone to kind of be awed by it in the game. So anyway, so that one's all kind of wrapped up there. And yeah, they're also started development on the Vandal Hunter. They started wrapping up the Driller. I'll close some pictures of the Driller up here. There's some inconsistencies between these images. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. Maybe it's the first.
Because there's original
second,
concept art, and then there's subscriber only thing or something.
Well, I don't know what the other ones were. What I kept seeing circulating around the web as being what the Driller is, and hey, if anyone knows in particular which one is it, the first set of first drawn kind of images, or is it these modeled images? Let me know, because I'm really kind of curious about that. They're very varied, and I'm not exactly sure which one it is, and maybe the design did radically change that much. I don't know, but they're taking a lot of what they've applied to these ships, and they're going to be applying them to future Vandal ships to get them out faster. So, and then lastly, well, the last 2 things actually, they're doing some weapon art upgrades. I'm going to show you a picture between the old M3A and the current one. Now, I'm very happy with the current one. As Lightning says, there's too much armor on it. It looks kind of like pointless
The
armor.
front's a bit too heavy,
But compared to the old M3A, I will take the new one any day of the week. Because
yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot more love put into the second pass, but it feels like they bulked it up too much, and it just kind of feels a bit overly done.
Yeah, well, it kind of looks Mass Effect-y to a degree. I mean, really. But still, I think it's a big improvement. I like to see these kind of changes, because a lot of these original weapon models are pretty low quality, to be honest with you, and they need to be updated. They don't fit. It's like if you're playing Skyrim, you're running around, everything looks great, and you have this low texture rock in front of you, and you're like,
It stands out.
oh boy, does it ever. Also, as well, I wanted to have a review for you guys for the TWCS throttle, and I had pre-purchased one on Amazon, and they said it would be here by now. But when I went to
Probably
check,
like yesterday or the day before.
oh, even sooner than that. The thing is that when I went to go and check the order status, because they gave me a ship date, they said there was a little button on there that said to confirm that I wanted to have it shipped. I'm like, so wait a minute, I ordered it, I paid for it, and now I need to confirm that I actually want it? I mean, didn't the whole part of you taking my money mean, that I kind of wanted it? So
Nope,
it's still.
not clear enough.
I guess that wasn't clear enough. This must be something brand new. When you say I want to buy it, you get someone the money that you would assume that would mean that you would actually get the item. Nope, I guess that was just too simple. Let's ramp it up a notch of stupid. So this kind of thing actually happened. I was watching Angry Joe, and he had this problem. He ordered Titanfall 2, and
Oh, lovely.
he pre-ordered it in August, and he didn't get his copy for the review because he said when he went to go check his order, see what's happening, he had a confirmation button sitting there, and he was like, "What the hell? I ordered this in August. Why do I have to confirm anything?" And so he didn't actually get it for the review. So this is apparently his new policy of Amazon. So I'm just got to be aware of that from now on. So anyway, guys, so I will get that review out to you after I get enough playtime underneath my hands with it. I want to try it with Star Citizen. I want to try it with Elite Dangerous. I want to try it with Evokron Legacy to kind of give a roundabout feel to how it works overall. Because
If only there was another World War II flight sim game that wasn't garbage that you could test it with.
There's one out there, but there's one we boycotted.
No, there is none.
Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't exist. All right, guys, and I have given a link at the end card titles here, basically to Lightning Dragon's channel. He's doing a Skyrim Enhanced Edition playthrough as the infamous Catmandu, where he punches everyone in the face until they die. And go ahead and give it a watch. It's quite a chuckle. And Lightning Dragon, it's good to see him putting up some real strong content on there. And if you're interested in Skyrim at all, or just want to see someone who's, well, the most notoriously vicious punch everyone in the face player in the Skyrim ever, this is the guy to go to. So
when they release mods that disable all plot characters and make it so I can kill children again, I'm gonna murder the entire world in that playthrough.
Oh, that's right. You want to do your Murder the World playthrough?
Yes, I'm gonna combine the smithing and punching mechanics, and I'm gonna involve that into murder everything forever. I just need to be like level 50 or something before I do that.
Apocalypse Edition.
Yeah, exactly. I will find those mods, or I'll use console commands to disable plot, and I will murder everyone. No one will talk to me again except for guards because they respawn.
Okay, well there you go. You'll be king of the world. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching another BlastCast. We'll catch you next week, and as always, leave comments down below. Ask questions. We'll be happy to answer, and we will catch you next time.
Bye-bye.